We got this covered. Hello, Internet. How's it going today? Interesting and totally human interaction that we're taking part in this wonderful afternoon. Mr. Rowley, over here, would you like to lead us in, good
What's going
sir?
on? I will lead us in because I don't know how much battery I have left. Seeing as how the power just went out about 10 minutes before we went live, it's just been that kind of day. But you roll with it, you keep on trucking. So I am Lee Rowley of Lee Rowley Copy Branding and Copy Brand University, and I would like to be what I guess the second really to welcome you to BowtieUP Live, since my co-host over here, the dashing Alex McDowell, was technically first.
Technically, yeah.
Absolutely. But none of that really matters because down here we've got our friend Olga Kirshenbaum. So go ahead and lead us in. Who are you? What's going on in your world?
Sure. I am Olga. My clients call me the Money Whisperer. I am a money coach. I help people in two ways. First is to build a financial or money toolkit that helps you manage your money day to day. And I also do abundance mindset work, which is, in short, seeing opportunity where there normally you'd see lack.
So, what about the people that always see opportunity? The opportunists? Are they just your circle?
It depends. I do find, especially with the times, there are some people who need kind of like an energy boost. It's so easy when you're surrounded by all the news and everything that's going on to start kind of buying into the fear and not see opportunity everywhere. So those people are just kind of my buddies, and I kind of give them a boost when they need it.
That's super dope because I know who I'm going to go to when I need an opportunity injection.
Absolutely. I have a friend. He texts me whenever he's like, I know I got this. I got this, but my mind is just like not doing it right now. So we do a little bit of reframing, and sometimes it's honestly just a sentence. And he's like, that's all I needed.
Yeah, oftentimes that really is all you need. A little bit of encouragement, a spice of empowerment, and you're pat on the ass and you're on your way into success. Because oftentimes it turns out way better than you ever thought it would. And you're your biggest obstacle.
Absolutely. And your biggest opportunity.
Yes. Opportunity is all around. It's something that you literally create from thin air.
Yeah.
It's a currency, if you will, of the entrepreneurial spirit.
I love that.
I consider myself a bit of an opportunist myself. That's why we're going to get along swimmingly, because it's a lot of fun to talk about. And especially right now, somebody like yourself is invaluable. Conversations about money, walking people through money, saving money, how to work through the existing crisis that we're in. It's big, it's scary, it's terrifying. And a lot of times it's easier to just close the door on it and ignore it instead of going and facing that. So I know that you've been deeply involved in a lot that's going on and helping people through this COVID crisis. So let's walk through some tips, tricks, and I was going to say Olga tricks, but then I realized I already used tricks, so that wouldn't work. Tips and tricks of what we can do and how you've helped in
Olga
COVID.
hacks.
Olga hacks. There we go. Whoop, whoop.
I love it. New hashtag.
I was just doing that on our little ticker.
I love it. Well, the first thing I believe, the reason why I'm doing all of this is I'm driven by the fact that most of us grew up with money talk stigma. And it is that a belief that it's not polite to talk about money. It is rude. It's a taboo. Most people are just, they kind of get pushed into the world. And it's like, hey, you're going to figure it out. And instead, most people think everyone else has it going on but me. So one of the things that I do is actually promote having money conversations. I think those, honestly, having money conversations is the first stepping point to fixing your relationship with money. It doesn't matter what it is. Maybe it's just you need a budget. Maybe you're trying to figure out how to get out of debt. Regardless, to get to that point, whatever your goal is, you're going to have money conversations. And as uncomfortable as they are, I would say, especially right now, I think a lot of people are trying to save money some ways any bit counts. A good way to practice kind of having those money conversations, call up vendors or people that you've worked with for a really long time. Companies like, I mean, there's a couple of companies that are extending breaks to people already, like car insurance. But let's say you've had Verizon for the longest time. You can say, hey, I've been a customer here for 5 years. Is there a rate that you can give me that's better? If you have any sort of leverage, use it. You know, I've paid all my bills on time for the past 5 years. And it's not really about getting that discount at that point. It's really getting into that conversation. So if you haven't had that conversation, it probably is scary. So make a list of the questions you want to ask. That way, once you get to those questions, you're going to be prepared and you know what you want to talk about. You know, everyone uses a script when you're talking to them. So if you're using a script, it's just going to help you be more prepared and really feel more confident. And when you are confident, just more things happen and go your way.
It's because you manifest it into the universe, so to speak. And speaking of manifesting it into the universe, it's time to stop the show and say hello to a couple of our wonderful audience members out there. Joining us on LinkedIn, we have William Stock joining us. Thank you so much for tuning in, man. Hope you're having a great day today, and how is it going? Chris tuning in on both Facebook and LinkedIn. Double hello there. Thank you so much. And then, of course, Nishant. As always, it's a pleasure, brother. Watching from YouTube today. How is it going? Hope that it's warm out there. Actually, he's in India, and it's 2:30 right now, his time. He was on the show on Friday, and it was incredible because he was like sweating, and I was in here with a sweatshirt. But it's semantics. I digress. And then hello to Melissa Kirkpatrick, also on LinkedIn, talking about manifesting. I absolutely love it. So we are joined by Olga today, and we are talking Olga hacks, saving money during the pandemic. To recap, what we just went over are a couple of things, such as during the pandemic, car insurance rates might have been lowered. I can touch on that as an insurance agent because I just read an article about that I found fascinating. Loyalty discounts are something that you should maybe be asking for. I mean, companies are aware this time is very challenging. And then using your leverage as well that you do have with any sort of companies, whether it be loyalty, whether it be your payment history, whether it just be there's other competitors in the area, you know, really making sure you focus and drill down and you meet that objective. And if you go in with a script, you're on an even playing field because the other person's reading off of a script too.
Absolutely.
So car insurance. You guys want to know a really cool fact about car insurance rating?
Yes.
So the insurance rates and then any sort of insurance breaks, there's a Department of Insurance in every single state that has to actually approve those. So these companies all have to submit a filing for new rates for every single one of their product lines just to add on a new discount, and not all states are even going to approve it. So even though it's something that they're trying to do to help people, it's not even the decision that the company can make. It's all regulated by the Department of Insurance approving the regulation or the amendment to their rating. I have a history in insurance. I was a compliance analyst, so it was kind of like my thing to know.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, it was a blast. I'm a data geek. What can I say? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, no, I spent 10 years in insurance. No, it is not, and my phone's down to like 12%, so I don't know how long this is going to last. But if I drop out of the discussion, I will definitely, catch the replay part of what I missed and be back on as soon as they figure out what the heck's going on over here. So I don't know. I think somebody hit a goose or something. It's not, it happens. Yeah.
You were saying about spending time in insurance?
Oh, yes. No, I wish Carla was in on this discussion because we can all nerd out over insurance stuff, but alas, we'll have to do that some other time. Anyway, yes, the states can be complete hell to deal with when it comes to rating, depending on what state it is, especially New Jersey.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
New Jersey was one of the worst. Ever.
New Jersey and New York.
So,
disease.
Oh, thank you. What, did you find a battery?
Oh, that's right. It's not going to work.
And in this episode, Lee gets a battery replacement. So, Olga,
And me
back
not
to your
work.
money hacks.
Yes.
What else? I know that you had mentioned that
We're
you'd save
working on
somebody.
it. Yeah, we're looking for the charged ones now. We're looking for the charged ones. Yeah, I didn't separate out the ones that were charged, the one that didn't charge. So yeah, I get an empty battery, but that's okay. It's my own damn fault.
Hope you don't have an
But
empty
there you
wallet
go.
as well. And if you do, Olga will be able to help with that with these money hacks. So you
There
had
you go.
saved somebody quite a significant sum of money
Cool, man.
during this pandemic, Olga.
Yeah.
Walk us
Thank
through
you.
some of the things that you had done to do that and some tips that you can give to the audience.
Sure. So this person actually works in the event planning industry. So it was one of the first that was hit, especially when things were getting locked down. And with her, it was more about the abundance mindset work. It was less about building a toolkit. She actually saw the progress she could make with my advice from the book that I wrote called Money Guide, Making Money Choices Doesn't Need to Be So Scary. And she saved a couple of $100. Eventually we had a chat, and she kind of had this shift in perspective of seeing opportunity where normally she would have seen lack. And instead of seeing these events pull out and see cancellations, she's already booking events for 2021. You know, some of these things are going to happen eventually. And I think one of the issues with event planning these days is it's unclear what kind of regulations there's going to be in place. There's going to be some sort of regulation for the time being as states open up. And that planning aspect of it just kind of quadrupled, maybe even, I mean, it probably exponentially exploded, and quadrupled probably isn't good enough of a word, but there's so much that's going to go into the planning of these events now that she's able to kind of see that opportunity and go for it. And she's been booking 2021 events.
That's how you do it. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, it's not that she can't plan events. It's just that COVID wasn't letting her plan events right now. So look at when
Right.
events are going to be planned and then get your ass on planning them.
Exactly. Another thing I think right now, people's mindsets, that's really the most important part of if you're trying to get into an abundance mindset. We're surrounded by the news. We're kind of bombarded. We're sitting in the same four walls, and it's kind of hard to see more opportunity. And especially for me, I am an abundance coach. I am a money coach, but I also found myself having conversations with a lot of people who were in fear, like people who had money and they don't feel like spending it because they're just terrified of the uncertainty. And I kind of started taking that mindset on, and I started to see my sales kind of slow down. I was like, this doesn't feel good. And I realized that there is this pattern of thinking, kind of taking on these fears and kind of taking them on to my business. And I said to myself, I refuse to believe that there's just this money is kind of flowing away from me. It's something that I'm doing, and it's a story that I need to reframe for myself. So what I did was, for my birthday, I started a charity fundraiser. I was like, I'm going to start a fundraiser and try to raise $1,000 for Charity Water. If you don't know who they are, they build water wells for underserved communities. And basically, I said to myself, I know that I can find people who will donate. So far, people have donated $686. We're almost at $700. And I think it just helped me reframe that story that I was telling myself. And honestly, the minute as I started seeing things fly in, my sales also picked up, because it was really a super powerful way to reframe that story for myself.
Yeah, and that just goes all about into mindset and manifestation.
Yeah.
Because what you got to do is you have to get yourself in the right mindset. And once you're in the right mindset, i.e., I'm going to get this charity started, we're going to do this drive, I do it, and then it starts to get successful, your whole mindset changes to be that of a success mentality, and you manifest that into the world. It's really just, it's simple, but nobody stops to think about it like that. which I think is where you come in. So how do we have that opportunistic mindset? What are some ways that you can really have that conversation in yourself or with yourself to get into that mentality?
I think being grateful for the things that you do have is one of the biggest ways to start getting into that habit. Because what it is it's a habit of mindset. And you try to kind of reframe those stories for yourself. I kind of lost track there. Sorry.
Oh, it's all good. It's really confusing when you just all of a sudden are on main screen and you don't have a
Yeah.
point of reference. So back and presence. Let's
Yes.
talk about ways to get yourself into that
Yes.
mindset. So Olga, I'm losing my motivation. I'm seeing no opportunities when I look around me. Help me. What do I do?
So I can guarantee you can find 3 or 5 things right now that you can be grateful for. They can be anything. They can be something that you have personally, something that's happened in your business, something that maybe a conversation you had with a friend. Try to come up with 3 to 5 things that you can be grateful
You guys
for.
heard her. We got 3 to 5 things that we need to be grateful for, and we want to see them over here past Olga in the comments. Go ahead, drop a comment. What are you grateful thing? Whether it's one thing or 5, show us your gratitude, and let's work on getting into this opportunity mindset together. I'll take the lead. I'll start on it. I'll name one thing, and then Olga, you want to name another thing too?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm really grateful for the fact that I figured out how to get my camera to work in 4K instead of HD. It was a huge win. It was really cool. I loved learning it.
Love it. I am super grateful to be here. This is actually my first live ever. I have never done this before. I'm super grateful for the opportunity, and it's a lot of fun. A lot less scary than I thought.
Oh yeah, lives get really terrifying until you realize that we just clown around and make 4 of ourselves on the screen or talk to our friends out there in the audience nonstop. Chris asks, how do I be a part? I know that you were supposed to be on the show as well, Chris. We will send the link to you. Lee, I know, is out there in the backstage right now working through some technical things. So Lee, if you can hear me, if you could get that over to Chris, get him the link to join the StreamYard so that he can join us for the second half. So back to gratitude, because it's a key to success. You've got to be grateful. We've named one thing, and we want to see those out in the comments, some more things that we are grateful for, guys. Just inviting you again to jump in. But I am very grateful for my son's first birthday that's coming up on the 2nd. That's freaking huge.
That's a big one.
1 year old. Yeah, dog. He's going to have like a smash cake and everything, and he's a little monster. So super, super grateful for that. Couldn't be happier there.
Nice. I am grateful for the beautiful weather today. We have had so much rain. I love the fog, and that's pretty too. But when you're cooped up in the same 4 walls, when the sun's out, it makes a huge difference. Super grateful for the sun today.
I'm never grateful for the sun because I'm photosensitive. However, I do appreciate it, supplying all of the oxygen, or supplying the trees with the sunlight that they need to make the oxygen so that we can all breathe. Shout out to the sun for that. But I am very grateful for the ability to adjust all of my lighting. So that, I don't know if you guys noticed, but during the stream, I came in a little bit bright, and I had to take down those hues so that I wasn't as harshly reflecting over on this side of my face. So I'm grateful to have the opportunity to be able to do that to get a better quality picture.
There you go. I am grateful for being contained with my mom. It's crazy to say that. I'm going on to almost, I think, 3 months of being contained with my mom. But it is, honestly, we have had so much quality time, so many laughs. I have learned to make so much food that I normally just kept putting off. I'm going to learn it later. I now have like a whole recipe book that will last me my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And cooking is something that is really just incredible to put together, and to think about the effort that goes into it and the measurements and how you actually can put together these whole ass recipes, and you set yourself up to always have something to look at. There's never the question of what's for dinner, what do we want to order. I'm not saying that I find dinner fascinating or anything, but as someone who got
I do.
accustomed to eating out a lot, you know, you get used to a certain lifestyle, and it's like, oh wow, now we have to cook and do things. But
Yeah.
that actually brings me to my gratitude. I am most of all grateful for my wonderful, wonderful wife Samantha, who's done everything that she can to support us during that time and taking care of the meal prep, of all of like the household stuff, so that I can do things like being on a live stream and working on some of the other incredible projects that I'm involved with. So very, very grateful for you. You're the best. Almost as good as the audience. Hey. Hold on. There you go. I got you. Now we have resumed, because otherwise I have to point over here to the comments, and I can't point to the comments if Lee is right here clearly. So pointing over here, because thank you so much. Shout out to William. William is grateful for remembering to be in front of a laptop instead of watching on phone today. We're grateful too, bro. Hold on, we got some things jumping in here with YouTube. I totally have lost track of the comments. Sorry, guys. Nishant, you're incredible. Thank you so much. Zero HD joining us on Twitch. Streaming is always fun. Dog, streaming's a blast. Absolutely love it. Which Twitch stream are you watching it from? Nishant, grateful for family. Excellent one, bro. 2, get people whenever I need someone, or maybe it's that I just forget the times when I don't. Fair enough. And 3, got to be on BowtieUP Live. Dude, we're grateful for that too. It was absolutely great.
Yeah.
Awesome to have you on Friday.
Yep.
Lee, join in the fun. What are you grateful for, brother?
Well, first of all, I want to say, Chris, buddy, I sent you the link so you can jump on anytime. I sent a message earlier this morning. Maybe I sent it to the wrong Chris. If I did, somebody's probably like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm not going to be on your stupid show. Anyway, I just sent it to you in a private message. You can jump on whenever the heck you want. I am grateful. You know what? Right now, I'm very, very grateful for Carla, because, you know, she's helped me get through the whole thing. She was in here, giving me battery packs and setting everything up and keeping this thing going, even though we had this little blip. And she's just right in here, helping fix things. So she's really so cool about that, and I'm very, very grateful for her. And I'm also glad that she's within earshot. So, hopefully she's hearing this, even though I don't know that she's watching it. So there's that. You know what? I'm grateful for the technology to do this, and the little technome people who run the technology to do this, because honestly, I'm, I wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. I'd just be like some demented old man yammering to himself and his cats and Carla. Some dismal, but here I am. I can share my grumpiness with the world, and for some reason people like it. So thank you, techie people who make all this happen.
And melt their cameras.
Yes. And I melted again. Well, that's it.
Well, this time I just exhausted the battery instead of melting it. It didn't overheat, but the battery died. So I had it charged on full, but I didn't have it plugged in for my meetings. I was letting it go on just battery. So here I am with my final point saying hello. That's my official stand-in while my battery charges up a little bit, guys.
Yeah. All right. So, all right. Okay, Chris, I don't know if we covered that. Chris says he's grateful for the decline in COVID-19. Yeah, I definitely.
Wrong one.
Except for the derpy people who are out making it rise again. You know who you are. I mean, where do you draw that line, though? I mean, we can't just stay inside forever.
Actually, I tend to challenge that. We definitely can stay inside for about ever. I'd live in a bunker if you let me. I basically do. You guys see my curtains.
Look,
I don't know.
Think I get any sunlight?
I need air.
What?
Flowing air. Like it gets stuffy, and to feel the breeze outside on your face, on your skin, it does magic. Things to be grateful for.
Yes.
You know what else I'm grateful for? I'm grateful for door number 4 that we're about to open.
Ooh.
Yes.
What's door number 4?
Ready? What's behind door number 4, you ask? Well, let's find out today on BowtieUP Live.
Hey!
It's Chris Power. Go ahead. What's going on?
It's a little dark, huh?
Okay. That's all right.
All right, can you see me?
We can see you, yes.
We can see a brief
Okay,
outline
good.
that we're assuming is you.
I'm really sorry.
That's quite all right.
I'll work on that next time.
We've had numerous technical problems today, so just don't worry about it. We roll with pretty much anything.
Looks like my problem, but nonetheless.
No worries. Well, welcome to the show. I'd like to take a second to introduce yourself before we continue. Tell us who you are, what you're about, what you do.
Okay, Chris Power Gomez. Primarily on LinkedIn. That's where I converse with Lee. I'm in branding primarily. I've been a brand developer for 4 decades. From that, I have launched 2 recent businesses. One in the recruitment space, LinkedIn Executive, and one in the auto dealer space, 2020 Dealer of Choice. Kind of unique, them being in different industries like that, but both have my core components of brand development packaged up in an industry offering.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, it's very, very good to see you on the show. I don't know if Alex is.
Alex is listening. I was just pondering
pointing.
the fact. Oh yeah, I'm pointing. I can change it out sometimes though. I'll have another little picture that'll pop up so I can do a nice.
That's a great picture.
Oh, thank you. You guys want to know a fun fact about this picture? This is not a picture at all. This is a screenshot from my desktop.
I love it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very inquisitive.
Yes, that was right before my camera finally melted away. No, but Chris, I was just pondering the fact that you're incorporating branding within an offering of an organization, right?
Well, at 62 years old, it's what I have to do to be relevant.
Hey, that is incredibly relevant, and I'm quite impressed. So I would love to know a little bit more about that. How can an offering that I'm doing, let's say in the auto industry, I want to sell more cars. How can I build my brand while still selling more cars?
Well, okay. What I've done is I happen to be passionate about auto dealers. I'm a car guy, and I've been involved in auto dealerships forever. My first company out of high school was a auto customizing company that sold directly to dealerships, et cetera, et cetera. So what I've done is always kept abreast of auto dealerships, and I saw them sort of going into this this thing with embracing people only in the buying cycle over the last 5 years. And what that does is it takes you out of any sort of long range brand marketing. So I watched year by year this start to put them in a bad position, and they do something called buy live leads. And so when you are a consumer and you want to buy a new car, you go to Google, you type in I want to buy a 2020 Chevrolet whatever, and an interesting thing happens. You get hijacked and you get sold to the nearest auto dealership, and it's called a live lead. It's very an auto dealer, it's like low-hanging fruit. It's like instant gratification. But what it does is it eliminates, again, any sort of community relations or anything like that. So I built a program called. Yeah, go ahead.
Before we go on with that, because I run the team that does the leads like that and gets people the live leads and sets up the hooks and everything. And the way that we do it is we try to actually encourage authentic engagement through this interaction, because all they're doing is an auto dealer, the live lead, they need someone that they know is qualified to buy a car. I don't want to just go spend all my advertising budget on advertising to any old Joe who's scrolling through the internet. I need to know that they intend to buy. So once you have that intent, that's where the internet, a couple of smart fellas are like, wait a minute, let's make it easier for these people to connect. And so you have companies like the Home Advisors of the world, or Car Guru of the world. And these companies put up advertisements that collect information on people who are in the buying cycle. And then they sell it to the auto dealers who are actually doing those leads. So the way that they do that, I personally do not agree with, but I wanted to explain the process to all you fellas out there so that you don't hate me when I came back on camera, knowing that that's part of what I do. So Chris, continue, and thank you for pardoning the interruption.
Okay. And let me just say, this has become a wonderful interaction. I should take a step back. I have friends that are in the business of pay-per-click, SEO, live lead. So I'm not here to trash them, but the reality is many have focused all of their marketing dollars on that. And what that's done is it's eliminated any sort of goodwill and looking at somebody beyond what is called the buying cycle. So my offering. So again, I'm not here to trash them. It's a good business, and it is needed. But for one to pigeonhole all of their marketing, I find it irresponsible. So I've put together a program called Reckless. I've put together a program called 2020 Dealer of Choice that is entirely focused on realigning the dealership with the local resident. In the past, a car dealership was built as an individual business in the center of town, and architecturally it was an icon of the community. And the local family had their doctor and their bookkeeper and their car dealer, and they were part of the family. And when there was any question about cars, they called their friend in the car dealer business. When it was time to buy, there was no question of where they bought their car. That has gone away. So mine is to build a program that embraces the local car buying public and reestablishes a relationship. And that is done by going into a dealership. I use the best practice methodology that was created by the global business strategists. So we first do an intel program and we determine where the dealership sits in regard to their relationships with local residents.
So just some
and then we determine little. What's that?
I said so. Just some prospecting in your sales cycle.
No. When engaged, we go into the dealership, and we do an intel program, which determines what is their relationship, that specific dealer with the local audience. Where are disconnects, that kind of thing. Where are areas that we can help them, and areas being brand modification, not a restructuring, but sort of brand positioning statements, maybe modify a promise, that kind of thing. And then it goes to customer touch points within the dealership. How can they embrace the local audience a little more with maybe ancillary services or customer areas, lounge areas, that kind of thing. And a lot of dealerships are going way forward on this area. And then we talk about marketing. We talk about marketing channels. We talk about marketing subject and themes and how to embrace the local audience. I then do something interesting. I have a publishing company that publishes one magazine, being an auto magazine, Auto Life magazine, and I use my magazine as a content marketing publication and direct mail it to local residents with content about the dealership. So that's 2020 Dealer of Choice.
And I love that specific approach.
Love the picture, Alex.
Oh, thank you very much. It's my placeholder while I charge my camera briefly until I feel I can come back for another 5 minutes and it dies. Such is the way that it goes. But no, Chris, I'm so thrilled that you can join us. And that kind of approach, I love it, because one thing that always aggravates me about car dealers is just how, in essence, scummy they end up all over the place. And there's never any change. So bringing that change to them, much like the cat on Lee's lap that is captivating me at this moment.
I love the cat.
Is so needed.
I've got a couple around here. I've got a couple hanging around here right now, but I won't grab onto them.
So Chris, before you joined us, we were talking about some things that we were grateful for. And Lee got to join in on the tail end, and he had mentioned Carla. But I say let's jump back into that for a quick round robin. And we'll go back to our gratitude train. Chris is our honored newest guest. You can go first, my friend. Tell us, what are you grateful for?
Well, I won't go too deep because I have a lot to be grateful for. I have to say my family. My wife and 2 kids are just my everything. And I've had the unique opportunity in life with a life-changing catastrophic accident to be able to really enjoy waking up every morning of my life and going through the day looking for ways to make my family's life better.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that is really beautiful. Olga, you want to follow that up?
I guess I will try. Let's see, what are we on? Number 4 or 5 for me? I am grateful for my plant babies. I can't show you, they're all around here, but I have easily over 20 plants. And whenever I'm feeling really stressed out, I will think someone needs watering. And before I know it, 2 hours later, I come out and I feel recharged and calm and zen. And without them, I don't know what I'd do in this quarantine.
It's always good to have that. Speaking of plants, Sam just took up plants too. She had just got into that hobby with the COVID era going on, and she had got a little bit bored, so she was like, I want to take care of something.
Yeah.
That brings me into, I guess, I don't know, I think I'm on 4 or 5 too, Olga, but I'm just so grateful that I can have, not only my team at both of my companies to support me, but just all of the great, wonderful mentors that surround me that I can take inspiration from. All of you guys just push me to do better. You know who you are. So thank you very much for that, because all of you are just so instrumental in everything that we're able to accomplish.
Awesome.
I'd be remiss. I'm sorry for interrupting. I'd be remiss. I don't want to take all of the time to not just give a shout out about my other enterprise, which is the LinkedIn Executive, which is a program of men's personal branding with what I call the LinkedIn Executive brand, and it's a true best practice brand that is sort of added on to a personal brand program.
Very nice. Very nice.
And I'm writing that down because I think about the difference between your profile picture versus some of my profile pictures. And I'm like, they have a completely different vibe to them.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that executive brand being very beneficial and powerful there, Mr. Power Gomez.
Well, when I realized that a personal brand doesn't actually have a brand, it kind of bothered me.
True. It's a personality more than a brand.
Yeah.
It's a social media strategy, yeah.
Mr. Rowley?
So, LinkedInExecutive.com if you'd like to know more.
Gratitude?
Oh, man, where next to go with this? Easy peasy. I mean, having an ability that lets me make the kind of money I want for Carla and I to live the lifestyle that we want and still have plenty of time to do crap like this. I mean, that's amazing because, I love copywriting, but, this is amazing because you just never know what you're going to get out of it. It's the whole Forrest Gump sort of thing. Yeah, I dig it. So, yay me.
Love it. And love the new photo, Alex.
Told you guys, I got to just switch it up. I got plenty of these on standby.
Hey, Leah, I wanted to compliment you on pursuing other methods of billing and or retrieving funds for your copywriting. I saw your post today on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. And it's, for me, it's part of the money mindset that we're in this together. Circling back to Olga here, I believe that when you do good in the world, when you put good out there, the good comes back. And, it's no secret that, if I charge X percent and, where I may have made X, then if the copy meets all its benchmarks, then I can make 10, 20, 25X with that. What's the problem with that? Because I'm investing in a client's success. I'm investing in their ability to do the rest of the work. And they're investing.
Yes, one would call it the performance method.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Performance.
Yeah. So not everybody agrees with that. I was accused of decimating the entire industry with my, terrible selfish ways or whatever.
Good.
Whatever.
Well, it's like talking to bookkeepers and accountants who still charge hourly. I personally don't agree with it, and a lot of people can't get away from it because that's the norm. That's what you do. But when you're providing a service that actually is helping your clients, it just makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine if you wrote all the base copy for an Uber of the world.
Exactly.
Now it
If I hit
does,
it on a flat fee, I'd be kicking myself. I'll tell you that.
Right?
but let's get into the devil's
That's
advocate
right.
side of this, because
okay.
Lee, you're going in on a commission-based method. In essence, kind of having these companies have to focus on your copy and rely on your copy as means of, financially profiting. The copy itself isn't the entire equation.
Absolutely
So
not.
that approach is highly reliant on the company's involvement and usage of the copy that you're presenting.
100%.
And then what about the other copywriters as well? Because if you're writing copy, let's say for an ad campaign, and it's a relatively large ad campaign, what if they have 2 or 3 copywriters that are writing and you're all doing split testing? The level of data analysis that you're talking about and tracking all of these different campaigns and setting up the back end to be able to handle that, plus cutting commission checks, how often they're paid, how long your rights to the copy and the commission generated from it last. There's a lot of considerations, I feel, that would go into the back end of the company that might inhibit you from being able to get new accounts quickly in that method, or anybody other than maybe some smaller businesses who are comfortable with taking that sort of risk, because that's a lot of risk to put on a business.
Alex, you are certainly data driven. What about the concern or the partnership that the copywriter has with the visual side, the art directors? What about that? What about ad concept that you're putting the linguistics portion to?
True. I mean, and you're doing branding on that as well, because you do a lot more than copywriting. You do copy branding. So when you're working on that commission, where do you draw the line? I mean, if you write internal copy, because copy in a practice, just words that sell, right? You think about things and find out what's hurting somebody until you can write words that are going to convince them that you can solve their pain. Now, you're doing it because you can solve their pain, but what if you're doing that for an internal facing team? There might not be a commission method.
I believe the benefit is with the program you're going into, Lee, is you can partner with, those that are very, savvy in building programs that will be successful. And they, as when I was a creative director, I've been doing this for several lifetimes with the people that I'm hanging with usually. At one time as a creative director, when I first went from art direction to creative direction, my thing was going to the global agencies and going in with a team. I would package up a team of photographer, copywriter, art director, and then I'd lead it. And with that is sort of the Gestalt principle. You're only as good as the rest of your team is. And so Lee, my point being, you partner with a group or an art director or whoever, that is savvy and knows their business, and it could be a rocket ship.
Or a tech company that runs those advertisements, that's able to do all the back end tracking.
Rocket ship? No, I'm not going that far. Come on out.
Why not? Yeah. All right. Who's in? I'm taking applications.
You don't have to take my application. You typically just call me the day of.
Let's just start eating people.
I'm just making a point that it puts Lee in a position by making that decision to not two minds, 4 minds are more powerful than one. You hang with a group, and I'm not suggesting I have anything to do with that. You're increasing the percentage of success, the degree of success you could have.
Sure.
Exponential value instead of linear value.
There you go. Yeah.
It also
Look at that in a data-driven way, Alex.
Yeah, I got you. It's what I'm here for.
Yeah, it also creates a one-stop shop for because honestly, for me, a lot of times when I'm working on a project, the idea of piecing together freelancers is just like, I just want to deal with this. Having a cohesive team that works together, it's a huge plus. So, yes.
Oh yeah, you get that whole
very good idea.
Get that whole your personalities commingle, and it's like you like your brothers in business, sisters.
All right.
Shout out to the guys at RIS that we do this with. Wonderful hive of about 5 people who are literally just kind of solving a ton of problems, ranging from healthcare to education to finance and banking. So,
all right.
Fantastic.
Yes. The next marketing powerhouse may have just been born here. You never know.
I didn't say it.
You didn't say
I'm
it.
not leading it.
You did not say it. Well, that's awesome.
Smart
All
business,
right.
Lee. Come on.
What's that?
I said it's just smart business, Lee. Come on.
It is just smart business, and I will say for a long time, and I am still learning that for a long time I was a very good copywriter and a very shitty business person, and I am willing to admit that. And I'm learning that end of it, and that's what's taken me from from having no leverage to having lots of leverage and basically being able to tell people this that well and being,
That's my wife's favorite party line.
that up yours.
I'm a great brand developer, but a shitty businessman.
Oh, okay.
I think that's where most people start.
What, being a shitty business person?
Yeah.
Well, you have to be a shitty business person first.
I mean, how will you learn that it's not good? It's not working for you. I remember doing my first cold sales pitch. I hated it. I knew you're not supposed to do it, but I walked into it. I didn't even know it was happening. Before I knew it, I was pitching someone. I was sitting there thinking, what the hell are you doing? It's not you. It sucks. It's not going to land. It didn't work out. And it just made me feel bad about myself. But I would not have known that. I mean, outside of the theory of you're not supposed to do that, relationships create better experiences all around. Had I not had that experience, I don't know. It wouldn't have stuck.
You wouldn't have the depth you have now.
I thought when you came out with an MBA that you knew everything about business.
No,
True.
that's a BA in art, Lee.
What's that smell? Sarcasm, I believe.
I mean, I do have a BS in accounting.
I have a BS in art. Ugh.
I dropped out of college.
I mean, what do these papers mean anyway? I learned way more being a business owner for 2 years than in my MBA for entrepreneurship.
I taught myself more in the
I went
last
to college
month than I
before
went to college.
electricity.
You went, I'm sorry,
I
what
went
was
to
it?
college before electricity.
Okay.
Before electricity.
I went to college before electricity.
Before. Okay.
Oh, before
What
or
is that?
for electricity?
I think
like
you said
electrical
before,
engineering.
as in Chisel's.
That would be the mid 70s.
How the hell did they not have electricity in college in the 70s?
I'm joking. It's a common joke. I'm so old.
Oh my gosh, you guys gotta tell me these. I'm not in tune. I thought you were being serious. I'm like,
amazing.
so okay. Oh.
I started my design and art direction career before there were computers.
See, and now I don't know whether I can trust you or not, Chris. This whole thing is
that's
ruined.
That's for real.
I used to work in visual effects, so I can really appreciate that.
Oh yeah, visual effects. I interned in television, and my first job as a staff designer was for Metro Media Television. Again, there were no computers, so I would do the windows behind the newscaster. And so if there was an airplane crash, I'd marker comp, an airplane cracked in half, and they'd shoot it, and then backlight it and put it up behind her.
Yeah. Now my favorite joke is I'll fix it in post.
There you go. But anyway, yeah. So that was then the introduction of the computer and the Macintosh, and the rest is history.
I love that you called it the Macintosh. That actually made my day.
Oh, am I dating myself?
No. Kind of like me not actually realizing that there was electricity in college in the 70s.
I probably somewhere in my dad's basement have floppy disks that are older than you, Alex.
Oh, I guarantee you do.
I do for sure.
My clients have given me things
and
that are older than me.
I still occasionally need to get data off them.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And you can do that. Of course you can. Never mind. What am I saying?
Yeah, you can do anything.
Yes, you send them somewhere. But no, it's been quite a career for me, 4 decades. So think about that. You know, I was I actually was on the founding team to help create Photoshop.
Wow.
Wow.
Freaky. But anyway, enough about my age. I am relevant.
Hey man, it sounds like it. That is honestly fascinating. Like all of the stuff that you've been talking about, like that is what a way to approach staying relevant. And I would love to even touch on that. How the hell you kept that mentality for so long? Because like keeping up with the times, especially seeing the birth of technology, seeing the expansion of technology, and knowing and leveraging the benefit that it offers. I mean, I'm not going to be generationalist, but typically, the older you are, the less you're willing to adopt technology. And so it seems like you've taken that opposite approach. You've stayed with the cutting edge, and that's why you're able to sit here and say, it's been 40 years and I'm more relevant than ever. And that is a testament.
Yeah, well, there's another little freaky element Lee knows about that I haven't gone about here, but 2010, I pretty much lost my life and had to start over.
Yep.
Everybody's
So
all.
you can't just stop with that. You know, you can't just be like leave everybody hanging there and be like, all right, I'm out of here. No, you gotta carry it out.
Okay. All right, I'll make it quick. I'm sorry, Olga. I've been cutting you off left and right.
No worries.
In 2010, I had 35 years behind me in this, senior executive in the creative space, and I was walking across the street and I got hit by a bus. And subsequently lost much of my memory and had to kind of start over in life. And so talking about when we speak of relevance in 2010, from 2010 to 2013, I sort of had to figure out who I was again and learn some of the primary components of life, like walking. And
Wow.
then in 2015, I went back into the business world, and it wasn't easy because I have traumatic brain injury, one of the residual deficits of the accident. So I had to figure out how to get my brain to work again, which I still do every day. Traumatic brain injury is a daily quest for, clarity. And so 2015, I really started on the process again to get back into it. And the last thing I did was go back into my profession because it was just plain daunting. The youth is awesome when it comes to creative development. So it was very daunting to come back into my profession in creative development, which I have now fully embraced, and here we are in business. But so there is that component to add to that wild story of mine.
That is quite an amazing story. You shared some details with me about that are quite jarring. And it's the same thing when you look at it and you say, how could you live through that? But we've all had, or a lot of us have had those experiences where people think the same thing about us. The tenacity, the courage, and we appreciate you opening up about that on the show. I mean, that's really cool that you're willing to share that. That's, that's what we're here for, is to just give people the real deal and not just the button down version of things, that the sanitized version that everybody wants to show everybody.
Here we are. Let's use profanity.
Oh yeah, that's the best part. We don't have to play by the rules because we can make the rules. We control the stream, so we can do whatever the hell we want.
I'm going to channel
I'm going to close that. I'll
Brian.
just say I do remember Lee's response to our correspondence back then when I told him about that accident. Do you remember?
Okay, you can't leave us hanging.
Yeah, you can't leave us hanging.
I think oh shit was part of it.
I'm sure there was. Yeah, there was an oh shit in there somewhere. That's fairly typical for me. Yeah. Yeah. So, well, no, when it comes to profanity, I think I'll channel my inner Brian Brody here and say that and go ahead and drop an F bomb because he said he hates the F word. Fine. He feels like if you are if you're fine, you need to re-examine yourself.
F that.
And F that. or
we should duck it.
Yeah. We can say
we have a duck it bucket. We can duck it in the duck it bucket.
We can. I can do.
No, I just want to say that the relationship that I have built with Lee, just with banter on LinkedIn, has been quite valuable.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and same here. And it's a joy after a few months of this to be able to chat face to face. So. Really cool stuff. So these are the ducks, the famous ducks. We've got that.
Yeah.
So,
and the completely unbranded bucket.
Yeah, the unbranded, definitely not for definitely.
No, it's
not
branded.
The,
it is branded. You've been going to Home Depot.
Oh no, the secret's out.
Oh man! All right, we got anything going on in the comments here? It's like everybody's kind of like. They're done talking. I don't know. Day after a holiday. Let's go. What about people who went back to work? I think I know. Speaking of the insurance industry, Carla was back from a 3-day weekend, and well, no, not you. You and I, But anyway, she had the 3-day weekend, and then like people were just brutal all day and being just jackasses, and like I wrecked my car and I hate the world and I'm going to take it out on you. So. Because nobody gives claims adjusters love. Nobody.
Or the good one now is going to work. The good one now is going to work and saying you have a fever.
Oh, fun.
Oh, that's like calling fire in a friggin' theater, isn't it?
Or sit down at your desk and start coughing, sneezing.
I see so many reports in the news and stuff about people that are just getting weird now. It's a drag. Taking advantage of this whole thing.
Oh, there are a lot of people who are trying to take advantage of it. That's why I feel personal responsibility of everyone capable to fight the scumbags out there to do it within their resources.
Yeah. Or then, a guy like me just looks at every ad that's coming out and it happens to be very, I guess you could say, or monotone now. Everybody's using the same theme, the same background music. Hell. And it's getting a little nauseating.
Yeah.
We're all sick of the same
Olga,
shit,
how do you feel?
I feel great. I mean, I've been stuck for 3 months now. So, but we're in phase 1 as of today. So whatever that means, just trucking along. But, I have found ways to keep myself busy even when things were slow. I created content through literally end of this year, you guys. I could stop creating and not get on video at all for the rest of the year. And
how much video is that?
It's a lot, but not a lot at the same time. So I have a podcast called 9 Minutes of Creative Wisdom, where I talk to creatives about business, money, and the sprinkle of fun. Lee was on the show, and because everyone's indoors, I basically have no cancellations. Everyone shows up to their appointment. We do a recording, and the way the podcast is set up, you can kind of repurpose each video at least 3 times. And I haven't even started to do that, but my content,
kind of like my brand.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm super grateful to have that much. I can't stop now at this point because it's like these lives, you have so much fun and you can't stop doing it. And it gets me in front of people that I enjoy talking to. And I just can't stop. But that's what I've been doing.
That's great.
Yeah.
Can I just say something, Lee? Are you not aware that when you sit in one position, your brand is horns coming off your head?
It is possible.
No, it's real.
It's horns with a top hat. You got like kind of a Abe Lincoln
Yeah,
top
I
hat
just-
with a shoe on it, and then horns coming out
Yeah.
of your head.
There you
Listen,
go. I
I'm
thought I was
okay
the only
with-
one that
I'm
saw
okay-
it.
Horns, Star
No, it's
Wars.
it's quite
whatever.
appealing.
Yeah, no, I get some people getting pissy with me every now and again because they're like, "That looks too much."
Oh,
like
no, I'm not
Star
pissy.
Wars and Degnia and that yours, but you know, the horns, I'm good with that. You know,
Okay.
yeah. So no, really, it's a.
I wasn't taking a position. I was just identifying it.
I understand that. Thank you. And you can take either position or neither or both or
Nah.
whatever. I don't care.
It's a good look for
You know,
you.
somebody like me would enjoy the sicko humor and looking like I have horns. Most other people probably couldn't stomach that. But again,
I didn't really see the demonic side.
Well, okay. What, more like a Viking thing or what? I could.
No, it is a
Where's my
Viking
line?
thing, clearly. Yeah, with the hat, like
Oh,
you said,
I know-
Alex, with the hat. Part.
I don't know where my I don't know where my skull mug is. I have a skull mug somewhere, but I'm not gonna.
I've seen that.
Around for it. Yeah. Okay.
okay.
So we'll talk about it. No point.
Look, I'm just
Okay.
trying to keep things exciting and light here.
All right. We can do that. We can do two truths and a lie.
Ooh, I like this
Nah.
one. Can we do two truths and a lie?
What do you mean?
Do
No.
whatever you want to show.
Sure.
Your show. I wouldn't go to the common stuff. Are they wearing pants or any of that stuff?
Oh, okay. Well, I can't imagine what the audience doesn't know about me. So, like, I'm gonna have to go last in this circle, for sure.
Well, this whole live thing is getting so competitive. Some are even going to mud wrestling.
Oh, we haven't seen competition
wrestling.
yet.
Live mud wrestling.
Hmm.
Okay, where is this?
With a business focus.
Okay, like
We're
flip
about to
charts
stream
around
Rick and
the
Morty
ring, or
season
what
4 with a business focus.
Yes.
I'm just telling you what your competition's doing.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
it's
Chris,
exact-
I'm sorry. I think you
Yes.
misunderstand. Those guys aren't our
No.
competition. We're competing in a completely different game. Streamers,
Yeah.
that's just like this
Nice to
is.
see you, Alex.
Yeah, how's it going, bro? See again, Technome. I just appear when I'm summoned. It just happens.
No.
So, yeah, no.
Battery's
The other
full.
content creators,
Okay.
no, not even close. It's actually still going to die. Not our competition. We're doing something completely different. None of these guys even know about it yet.
Yeah.
Well, Lee does, obviously, but
I'm not gonna. I won't tell him.
Here.
Between you and I.
I can't tell you. It's top secret. No, we're building something. I've been engineering
Yes.
again.
He's always
Okay.
I'm always engineering. That's why you guys keep seeing
That
changes
guy.
to my video feeds. Yeah, when I say I'm in tech, I don't mean like a lot of people say they're in tech. They're like, I build websites on WordPress because I don't understand the DNS. I'm like, we create the internet around us and we do what we want. Like it's that simple. So yeah, I got a.
Oh, Alex, I've got some stories for you.
I've got some stories for
I
you.
actually
We gotta
created
have a
the-
beer sometime.
Listen to this. I created the first internet professional services firm in
Really?
2001. Yeah. We were
Okay.
building million dollar websites back then. The first Flash developers.
Wow. You're
Cool
going
stuff.
back to like the actual. I always forget.
Oh, here we
College
go
in the
again.
70s.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Right.
And now Flash isn't even
Worked with a
supported.
company in San Diego. Worked with a company in San Diego that was the group was part of the founders of Qualcomm, and we did some cool stuff.
Wow. Yeah, man, I can only imagine the shit you were doing back then.
Yeah.
'Cause the
Disney
internet-
Go was one of our products, and it still exists.
Wow. That's awesome. I don't think I've ever really
Yeah,
met
it was cool.
anybody who's been there like when it was kind of founded and taking off and whatnot. Because a lot of the new internet marketing is all based on after the .com bubble, and we're embracing the new GTLDs and going to different whole
man.
ways of doing things, and the forwards that are just horrible, and the ads that are literally everywhere, and it's just the wild west out there anymore. It's not what it was intended for.
It was then, but they were trying to build, models from it, toward the end of my, when I opted out, if you will. And so many were not being successful because of the overvaluation and all that stuff. And that's when the suicide rate went up.
Yeah. It's a problem with connected society. Everything's connected. Your ability to get information,
anyway,
your ability to receive.
I had developer teams on 3 continents building that stuff.
What was the size of the team that you were managing?
Well, I mean, in San Diego, I had probably 10 to 15, ranging from
Gotcha.
real hardcore coders to Flash developers to artists.
Yeah.
And but then if I had a specialty guy or group, in Russia or wherever in Europe, we'd find a way to make them part of the team, and we'd all work together. It was pretty cool. We did like MTV and some real cool stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah.
The first $1 million websites. The first $1 million websites.
Wow.
Yeah. But now you can go to Kinko's and get a logo for $75, and it's,
well, you can go to Fiverr and get a website for like $20, man. Good luck on what you're gonna get.
I don't even like the name of that thing.
Yeah.
Fiverr. What's up?
I don't know who, and not to point fingers at anyone, Lee, but goes on Fiverr and says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go get some professional services, $5. It's like going to Subway and being disappointed when your $5 footlong is like 11.5 inches and has 2 slices of meat. Like, of course.
That is a wonderful, good parallel, Alex.
The dumbest thing I have heard today.
Okay, Lee, let's go. Why?
Because if I'm going to Subway,
I was going to say that's like finding a kid on the sidewalk selling chiclets and hiring him.
If I go to Subway, I know what to expect. I'm not expecting a fucking 5-course meal when I go to Subway. Okay,
very true.
It's convenience.
Or Fiverr.
It's something like food. Yeah, Fiverr, Taco. Can I say Taco Bell? Fuck, I said it. Taco Bell. If I go to Taco, like have across the street, there will be Taco Bell. It wasn't some place you went because might want Taco Bell. It's something you place you went because we went across the street to grab Taco Bell because it resembled food. It took care of the whole lunch thing in short order, and we get back to whatever the hell we were doing.
Yeah, I think Taco Bell might own part of Fiverr. Okay.
But, every once in a while, a bean burrito will do. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you're true. Too many people live off of those bean burritos.
Yeah, if you could call it living.
Yes, if you staff your teams on Fiverr, can you really call it living, guys? That's the question of the day.
That's right.
Besides that, nothing on Fiverr.
Well,
anymore.
No, it's not.
Direct link to Costco. Well, we got off on a great tangent, a quality tangent.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. It's all right, Alex. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I'm not. I actually think that was a great rebuttal. That's an excellent thing to think about, because you really don't expect a 5-course meal from Subway. You know the quality you're going to get, and you choose to punish yourself anyways. Maybe you feel like you deserve it. Maybe you just don't care if you
sales of banner ads by Subway on Fiverr have just gone up.
Yeah, there you go. If anybody out there is listening, you're probably going to see ads for Subway. Welcome to the internet.
Hey, how much longer do I have to keep up this pace?
No. We're about to wrap this up, I think.
Oh, good.
I'm so much older than you guys.
Food talk. I am starving.
You're starving. All right. Well, this is a good place as any to, Alex, you want to do like a quick round of final thoughts to get the heck out of here?
Do I want to do a quick round of final thoughts? Of course I want to do a quick round of final thoughts. It's like one of my favorite things. But first, just make sure everybody listening to connect with our wonderful guests on LinkedIn. Olga and Chris, thank you guys both for joining us today. We are coming to final thoughts. One of my absolute favorite parts of the day, where you get 30 seconds, 60 seconds, or really however long you want, to talk about what's on your mind and a lasting impression you want to leave to our favorite friends, the audience. You'll be put in center screen, and you'll get to have a go. We'll go in clockwise order, starting with our first esteemed guest, Olga. And Olga, you'll be on the clock, or lack thereof.
I am super grateful for being here. Like I mentioned earlier, this is my first live ever. Super grateful to be here. And if you're really trying to work on that abundance mindset, find 3 things every morning that you're grateful for. And I can guarantee your mindset is going to shift. Thank you.
Great.
Whoop, whoop. Moving on to Chris.
If you are in the job market, and more people than in the last 100 years are, LinkedInExecutive.com. Don't take chances. Do it right. Thank you.
Very good.
Mr. Rowley.
It's me. Okay. Wow. I don't have much else to say. It's been a great episode as always. Other than we will not be back until Friday because we're doing this thing now where we're going to do a couple days a week instead of all 5. And maybe we can get a little bit of our sanity back. But potato. So thank you, Chris. Thank you, Olga, for joining us. Thank you, Alex, as always, for co-hosting this shindig. I've had a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to Friday's free-for-all, where it's going to be free-for-all. And I kind of like this 4-way discussion thing, too. So maybe we go somewhere with that. If we plan it a little bit better. I'm done.
I never know. And I'm running on limited battery, Lee. So yeah, just to kind of follow everything, guys, thank you so much for joining, hanging in, and chilling with us for so long. Remember to come back Friday because that is when we're doing it next. Free for all Friday. I've got some engineering to do in the meantime. I know that we had mentioned on yesterday's episode, actually, was when we had thought about streaming Rick and Morty. I would love to do that Friday. We can shoot for that. And then if you guys want to be part of the free for all, we can do that.
Yeah.
And if we're really lucky on Friday, well, not lucky, if I can find the time, we'll be able to actually stream to a website and we can have an exclusive VIP event, maybe an after hours hangout, something like that. So stay present and engaged, and you guys know we got some really cool stuff coming your way. And as always, thanks for tying up live with us.
See ya.
That's it. Get
Bye.
the heck out of here. Bye,
See you,
everybody.
friends.